Plagiarism, what it is and how to avoid it. That's what we're going to talk about in this tutorial. My name is Amber Pavlina, and I am one of the reference and instruction librarians at the Van Library. Here's my contact information. I can help you find sources for a paper, cite sources for a paper, and help you think critically about information. So, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is defined as using someone's ideas, words, or creative works as your own without properly citing where the information came from. Now, you probably knew it constituted using someone else's words, but you might not have known that it also includes using someone else's ideas or creative works. And what are creative works? Creative works could include music, lyrics, dance moves, a play, a musical. So not just someone else's words, but their ideas or anything they've created. So anything you use that someone else has created, you have to cite where that came from. Plagiarism is a form of cheating and it has serious consequences. Some of the consequences of plagiarizing at St. Francis could include failing an assignment, failing a class, or even being dismissed from school. So you don't want to plagiarize. The reason you don't is because assignments allow you to learn. And you're in college, so you can have learning opportunities and so you can grow intellectually. And when you plagiarize, you lose your learning opportunity. So what we want to strive for in our college experience is academic integrity. And that just includes being honest, fair, and responsible in all our academic pursuits. So we want to strive for academic integrity and avoid plagiarism. Some examples of plagiarism include someone else's work as your own. This can include an entire assignment or a part of an assignment. It can include copying and pasting information from the internet or a database without giving the source credit. Also, paraphrasing, which is when you put someone else's ideas into your own words. Even though you're putting that idea into your own words, you still need to give credit for that source. So paraphrasing and not giving credit is a form of plagiarism. And also paraphrasing another person's line of thinking and using it as your own. So remember, plagiarism is not just words, but it's also someone else's ideas. And those examples come from the USF Student Handbook. So what about common knowledge? Do you have to cite everything? So common knowledge includes whatever an education person would be expected to know or could locate in an encyclopedia or dictionary. Common knowledge is knowledge that no one can claim as their own, and it does not need to be cited. So some examples of common knowledge are Aristotle was a Greek philosopher. We all know that. We've read about Aristotle from the time we were little. So that knowledge is not owned by anyone. That's common knowledge. Another example of common knowledge would be common sayings, like for example, to each his own. We don't know where that saying originated, so it's common knowledge. So if you're ever in doubt of whether you need to cite something or if something constitutes common knowledge, just either ask a librarian or ask your instructor. It's better to be safe than sorry. So how do you avoid plagiarism? You can ask yourself a couple questions. The first question is, did I come up with this idea? If you came up with the idea, then it's your own, so you don't need to cite it. If you didn't come up with the idea, then you need to ask yourself the question, is this idea common knowledge? If it is common knowledge, then you do not need to cite it. But if it is not common knowledge, then you do need to cite it. So where can you get help in order to avoid plagiarism. You can go to the Purdue OWL, that's the online writing lab. That's a really user-friendly website hosted by Purdue University, and that gives you examples of how to cite sources in APA, MLA, Chicago, and also the differences between summarizing, paraphrasing, and quoting. There's also a citation feature in the library catalog, which is called OneSearch, and other library databases. I already showed you this citation feature in another tutorial. Now, just one thing to remember, if you use another tutorial, if you use another database or the library catalog to cite something, then you want to double check it for accuracy, and a good way to double check it for accuracy is to go on the Purdue OWL. There's also style guides or manuals for APA, MLA, or Chicago. We have all of those in the library, so you could always use one of those. But if you think using one of those is difficult, you can always go to the library and ask a librarian or visit the Writing Center, and we'd be happy to help you. So I'm going to have you do a little plagiarism activity. You're going to take a quiz to see how well you understood this tutorial. So you're going to go to the web address listed in bold, and you are going to take the quiz. I hope this tutorial was helpful and that you learned a lot. Have a great day.